Welcome back. This week, as promised, we are going to delve deeper into self-defense, into situations where maybe what you try doesn't work, or maybe something happens that you weren't expecting, and different ways you can solve that. I'm going to go through a plethora of different holds and grabs that might happen and give at least 2 different ways to escape them. While we go through this, I want to make sure we go through a couple points about practicing safely. Number 1, always ask your partner if they are willing to help you. Number 2, make sure you are communicating with your partner as you go. Ask them, are you comfortable if I do this? Are you able to hold me a little tighter because I think I got this down? Are you okay if I yell? Has I practiced this? Things like that. So make sure you're communicating the whole time. And number 3, most importantly, practice slowly. As you go, I don't want you going full force as you continue to learn how to do this. It's always important to practice slow so you can do it correctly slowly, and then build up your amount of force, build up your amount of precision as you go. You don't want to go full force the first few times you're practicing a move. You always want to make sure you do it slow so you make sure you got it down. All right, without further ado, I'm going to grab my partner and we are going to begin. All right, so now I have my partner here. We are going to go over quickly the one-armed wrist grab. You have your basic lift up, spread your fingers, do the kick, step back, push away. That was the basic one. We've gone over that in a couple other videos, so I want to move on to a new one with that one right away. So you have 2 different things to do in case the first one doesn't work, which oftentimes it doesn't. So the second one, he's going to grab my wrist. I'm going to do the same thing where I spread my fingers apart. As I'm doing that, I could do my distraction. So spread, distract. Then I'm going to bring my wrist up just like I did before, but instead of bringing it back, I'm actually going to shoot it like a spear over to the side. So I'm bringing it up, over to the side, just like that. If he holds on to me really, really tight, go ahead. He's holding on to me tight. I do this, over to the side. As always, use your voice as you do that. Are you okay if I yell?
Yes.
All right, so he's going to grab on tight. Ready? Side, let go! Just like that. And we scared the cat. All right, so those are 2 ways to get out of a single wrist grab. But here's the thing. He doesn't have just one hand. He has 2. If he really wants to bring me somewhere I don't want to go, he might be using both hands. So here are 2 ways to escape a double wrist grab. One, a very simple way. Remember, you have 2 hands as well. So with my other hand, I might come across with a distraction of a punch to the face or a punch even to his arms. Arms are sensitive and they don't like to get hit very much. So I might do a punch here, then pretending, make sure I'm not actually going to hit my partner, because then he wouldn't want to be my partner and help me with these anymore, just like your partner. So as I come across, after I've done with that, I can come in and help this hand escape. So I would grab onto my fingers and help yank it out, hoping that he had loosened up a little bit after I hit him. So, double wrist grab, I'm going to bring my arm across like this, grab on, pull out and to the side. Now, I'm not just pulling up with this. I'm not just coming up. I'm coming up a little bit to go against the thumbs, and then to the side, just like we did with that spear hand motion with the single wrist grab. So those are 2, that's one way. Here is the second way. The second way is something I'm going to introduce called gunting, which comes into practice with really any arm grab like this. Gunting is going to be an uppercut motion to this area right above his elbow. So I'm going to straighten up your arm really quick. Right above his elbow, you have the tricep, and it's almost right above the funny bone area. If he's like this, if he's holding me, I can come across like this right into that area and punch it. That's called gunting. If you haven't ever hit your funny bone or haven't ever hit this part of your arm against something, there's a lot of nerves up there. It actually hurts quite a bit. It's happened to me before in practice. So I would do that with the expectation that he would loosen up a little bit after he does that. And then if I'm still stuck with maybe one side, I could come in again like that. So those are 2 ways to escape a double wrist grab and 2 ways to escape a single wrist grab. Next, we're going to go into a lapel grab and then a All right, so those were our wrist releases. Next, we're going to go into lapel grabs. Lapel is like the front of your shirt. I have a nice thick lapel. As you're practicing this, maybe make sure you're either wearing some really thick clothing or you're asking your partner not to really grab onto your shirt, or else you're going to end up with a lot of ripped shirts. So with the lapel grab, we have the single lapel grab, and then we also have the double. With the single lapel grab, think about that gunting technique we just learned where he was grabbing onto my wrists. I'm still able to reach that area, so I might come up with that gunting technique right there, try to loosen him up. As I do that though, I would be making sure that I would be having my arm up ready to push him away. So that would be one technique for the single lapel grab. Go ahead and grab again. That gunting technique, back off, push away. The second technique, I would be going against his wrist. The wrist is usually a very sensitive part of the body as well. So I have my hand, both hands free actually. One hand would be up defending myself in all these situations if I'm not using it. The other hand can come across and I can use this really bony, knuckly part right here to come down on the top of his wrist right there. So using this part right here, that bony part, to come down on the wrist. So as I do that, I would also have this hand up, ready to push away. I would come up, down, and then step away with my safety fence up. That's a single lapel grab. To be honest though, what would probably be more typical in self-defense, hello cat, is a double lapel grab. So a double lapel grab, this is really common in pulling or pushing techniques. So if he's trying to take me somewhere or force me somewhere I don't want to go, that would be where the double lapel grab would come in, where he would be grabbing the front of me, trying to push or pull me somewhere I don't want to go. If he's pulling me, he would usually be pulling me this way like this. One thing I could do here is use his own weight and his own movement against him. So if he's pulling me, if I go down, his natural instinct will be to pull me back up so he can keep pulling me this way. If I go down, I'm going to use his own strength against him. I'm going to bring my hands up and then push him away. If I want to add a little bit more zing to that, if he grabs onto me and he's really pulling me, I've been trying to get away from him for a while, maybe I'm pushing down, up, 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 and then bringing his wrists together, knocking the back of his hands together. That's another very sensitive part of the body. If I do that really hard, he will feel it. So he's pulling, I'm going to bring my weight down just a little bit, push up, and away. That's one way for the double lapel grab. Another way is just doing the single lapel grab twice. So if he grabs onto me, I can do a gunt, or I can go 1 on top of the wrist, 2 on top of the wrist, and away. Again, he grabs onto my lapels, I go 1, 2, and away. All right, those are the lapel grabs. Next, we're going to get into the bear hug. So bear hug is another really common pushing and pulling one. If he grabs onto me, this is going to be his full upper body strength. He's using his arms to wrap around my torso, and he might even be pulling me up off my feet and dragging me somewhere. So with this, whether it's a front bear hug where he's facing me, or a rear bear hug where I'm facing away from him, first thing you want to do is start moving your torso, start wiggling. You don't want him to be able to have a really tight grasp on you. So the more you wiggle, the more you move, the harder it is for him to get a tight hold. If you've ever experienced wrestling or maybe even judo, if you've ever been in a hold down or a lock hold, you know how exhausting it is to get out of those. You run out of breath really quick. So it's very important the minute you start feeling this to start moving. As you are moving, try to get into a situation where you're trying to get your shoulders in as tight as they can to make your upper body as small as it can be. So one really good way to do this is to bring the back of your hands together like this as you are wiggling to make yourself as small as you can be. Then what you would do is you would try to start turning your body into a direction where you can get your elbows into him and push away. Elbows, hardest part of the body, they hurt. I've been elbowed before, it hurts. So I'm going to do a rear bear hug. I'm moving, I'm wiggling, I'm getting my elbows in. I'm going to bring myself around as I go and push. As I go, a more advanced thing that I might have done there is as I went, I pushed his arm up with my other elbow as I tried to escape. That's so that he has a more difficult time grabbing me again. And if you're really advanced, it also helps defend yourself against chokeholds. So those are four different self-defense releases. We did a single wrist grab, we did a lapel grab and a double lapel grab, and we did a bear hug. Next week is our final week of Tae Kwon Do Club videos. So we will go over a little bit of all this again as a review and throw in 1 or 2 fun advanced moves for you guys to practice at home. Thank you for watching. Bye. Whoops, I almost forgot. I talked about pushing and pulling lapel grabs. So if he has my lapel, he can both push me, or he can both pull me, and he can push me in a direction. The pushing and the pulling lapel grabs are very different. With the pulling lapel grabs, I can use his own weight against him. And similarly, I can do a little bit of the same thing with the pulling lapel grab. So if he's, pushing. I get confused with those 2 words. So if he's pushing me in a direction, I can still use his own weight against him, but I'm going to do it in a different way. So what I will do if he's pushing me is I will kind of go with him for just a little bit, but then I am going to bring my arms down and to the side. So if he's really pushing me, he's going to go that way, which is why I want to step out of his way and go to the side. So as he is pushing me, go ahead and push me. Push, 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 push. I'm going to go down and to the side to avoid him if he comes barreling in my direction, and also to direct his body weight down so I'm ready to run the minute I escape. So 1 more time, pushing the lapel grab, he's going to grab onto me, push, 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 down. Hey, get away! Over to the side. All right, there we go. Now I've covered everything. See you next week.